Welcome to Guthli Talks, presented by Miles SoBA. Advertising is always an industry who's just very young at heart. How welcoming is the advertising industry towards youngsters?
College teaches you certain things and the industry is huge and it's a very sort of parallel different industry. So I urge to all youngsters, be able to communicate with human beings. You have to be humans first. I think we are in industry, it's a problem solving industry where clients come to you with a set of problems and you have to credibly solve them. Every single time interesting solutions or ideas, unlike many other creative industry, be it music or movies, they are bluntly copying it and taking a lot of pride, saying I have copied exactly like this, whereas we feel stupid even if we are close to it. Forget about copying. Even if you have spent 100 years in this industry, you're still a learner. A lot of senior people like me have to learn what happens on social and digital and on some of the absolutely small screen mediums. Unless you don't learn, you are out of the industry.
Welcome to Guthli Talks, presented by Miles SoBA. I'm your host Pranav Liju, and today's episode is something that excites me a lot. I had to fight to be the interviewer for this episode because I'm going to speak to one of the true legends of Indian advertising. This gentleman who's going to join me in a second has over 25 years of experience. I'm talking to none other than Santosh Padhi, who is fondly known as Paddy. Paddy's journey from an art graduate in Mumbai to founding Taproot, which is one of the most celebrated creative agencies in India, is nothing but extraordinary. He has numerous Cannes Lions Award, D&D Pencil Awards and Clio Awards to his name. And this man is a walking, talking award magnet and creative. He's currently the CCO of Wieden+Kennedy, and Paddy is continuing to push the boundaries of creativity with his bold and disruptive ideas. Thank you so much for giving us your time, sir.
Pleasure.
I know you're extremely busy and you took time out for us. I'm extremely grateful for that. I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's straight up get into the questions. You have had a fantastic career of scaling over 25 years now. You were a graduate, an art graduate in Mumbai, and then you went into doing amazing things and co-founding Taproot, and now as the CCO of Wieden+Kennedy. Sir, I would like to get into your brain first of all. What is your creative process like when you are tasked with a problem or a brief?
I think we are in industry. It's a problem-solving industry where clients come to you with a set of problems and you have to credibly solve them. So I think it's extremely important to sort of get into the core of the problem and then come out with a very interesting, engaging solution. I think it's very easy to say it, but it's really a challenging job. And as we always say that every single time it's an interesting problem with an interesting TG, and hence the challenges are very different every single time. That's why you don't feel you're doing the same thing again and again. So it's a joy. But as I said, to find an interesting creative solution is always a task, and that's where we keep ourselves on our toes in terms of, okay, this has been done before, or it's not fresh enough. I think this industry takes a lot of pride in terms of creating every single time interesting solutions or ideas. Unlike many other creative industry, be it music or movies, they are bluntly copying it and taking a lot of pride, saying I have copied exactly like this, whereas we feel stupid even if we are close to it. Forget about copying. So I think I'm glad I'm in an industry where you don't get easily sort of, people blame you for doing something that is done before. Mediocre work, if you are copying some international ad or something that has been done 2 decades back. So there is no easy escape for anybody if they are doing that. That's why I think consciously people are keeping that pressure, and that's why I think we are as an industry, as a fantastic creative industry, because we keep on upping our game every single time by creating something that's been never done before.
Amazing. Sir, this is a question that I've been asking every single person I've interviewed, and it's sort of like a basic question. How was your early periods of advertising like, or like we like to call it, your Guthli days?
I think when I got into this industry, I was fortunate to have great bosses. And I was clear in my mind that I have to devote 3 years to the industry, because what you learn in college is very different than when you come into the reality, which is client coming with a problem and you have to solve it credibly. So I think I was pretty clear, because college teaches you certain things and the industry is huge and it's a very sort of parallel different industry. So I was prepared myself that I'm not going to be restless and get into big campaigns and big ideas, because my 3 years of learning is extremely important for me. So I was pretty clear.
Right.
So I was not eyeing for great money, I was not eyeing for big opportunity. I just said, let me learn from these gurus, and I was fortunate that in Mudra, which is now DDB, I had 3 different kinds of bosses in 3 years.
Right.
And they all had 3 different styles and approach towards brands and the creative work. So one of them was a copywriter, one of them a hardcore designer, another guy was a very visual, sort of a rich thinker. Nalesh Patil was that. Bhopal Ramnathkar was a designer, and Ramesh Rabindranath, who was a copywriter and become a head of Mudra that time. So I was fortunate to work very closely with these guys. And that's why I think somehow those versatility came in early days. And as I say, I'm blessed to continue that.
Awesome. So you had one thing I've heard common from every person that we have spoken with so far is the interest of learning.
True.
From somebody. How important do you think is that in an industry like advertising?
Extremely important. I think even if you have spent 100 years in this industry, you're still a learner, because the industry is evolving, the medias are evolving, the problems are new, because the consumers are changing, hence the problems are new. So something that you have done 2 months back, you won't be able to have that, because consumers are changing, their demands are changing, the brand positions are changing, the approach are changing. So I think it's a constant evolution in the industry. It's a fast moving industry. I mean, look at things have changed, how drastically things have changed in the last 2-3 years. So I think people who think they have arrived, I think they should retire. I think it's an industry where you have to keep learning, and a lot of senior people like me have to learn what happens on social and digital and on some of the absolutely small screen mediums, because unless you know what happens there, you won't be able to tell stories on those mediums.
Very true.
So extremely important. Don't get into the tech and back end part of it, but at least understand the emotion why somebody is spending 4-6 hours on this medium. So if you and we are not the ones who do that, right? So it's extremely important to get into somebody's a youngster shoe and figure out how does that happen, and why should I, or what kind of content getting consumed, and how do I create and make my ads more entertaining, exciting and emotional compared to some of the reels and other things that they do. So I think these are the constant things. That's why, as you mentioned, Pops was mentioning, and we spend a lot of time with youngsters just to understand their mindset. Because this is learning. There's nothing else but a learning process. So unless you don't learn, you are out of the industry. Then you are faking it. Then you are just sticking around. Then your shelf life will be not more than 2 to 3 years.
Keep learning, guys. Keep learning.
Absolutely.
So you also mentioned how the industry is ever evolving, right? You have seen it go from TV first to now digital first. It's
in fact it was print
first
when I
TV
came
first.
in. Yeah, correct.
Amazing.
Print, TV and
so you went from print first, then TV first to digital first now. A youngster getting into this industry who does not have as much experience as you or as much data as you, because now you are the CCO of a company, obviously you can crunch a lot of data that you're getting on a daily basis. For a youngster, how can he or she be updated with this ever-evolving industry?
Well, I think, yes, definitely. I think the screens have become part of our life. They are, in a way, extended organs of human beings.
Yes.
But it's extremely important to interact with people, to invest time with people, because see, ultimately when we are talking through any medium, you're talking to human beings. If you don't invest a lot of time and understand the other human being, it will be hard to communicate with that person. So it's extremely important that you stay in touch with everything that's around you, not only one part of it. If you don't appreciate and don't preserve the nature, it will disappear.
That's true.
Same with human emotion. If you don't understand what our X kind of a friend is, who are parents, grandparents, XYZ, I'm just talking in general.
Yeah.
You need to understand because I think we all are in an industry where we need to communicate, talk to human beings. And with tech and the innovations and tech taking over, we have become less of human beings.
That is true.
So I urge to all youngsters to be able to communicate with human beings. You have to be humans first.
Yes.
And that will only happen when you keep in touch with humans.
Yes.
Just by seeing human stories doesn't make you human.
Right.
I think when you go and sort of pat on a dog, there's a different kind of emotion that spills over versus an old person on a street versus talking to a stranger. I think these are some of the things that we human beings have been gifted with, and we shouldn't lose those things.
Yep.
So, as I said, if you want to be really the sort of pillar of this agency, you need to dabble around every aspect of the industry. Absolutely.
Amazing. Sir, advertising has always been an emotion-first industry, right? It's about selling emotions, but at the same time, it's about making money. So when a brand approaches you, you have worked on some brilliant campaigns like Adidas Alts or Facebook's Pooja Didi. What is the secret of connecting brand storytelling with that human element or emotional aspect so that it sells?
Great. See, this is an extension of what I just said.
Yeah.
If you are not able to understand or if you are not able to understand a human being, you will lack in terms of heightening that emotion that particular brand needs to convey to that particular TG.
Yeah.
So you need to be sensible enough to let all the emotion pop up in your head and your heart when you get a brief.
Right.
So only by interacting, only by collecting those wonderful observations and data. One is this tech data.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this human data.
Human data.
Only by having those things which is rich, you'll able to pick and choose and make a combination whenever the brand needs an X kind of thing.
Right.
So I think if you're a 24-year-old kid new in the industry, you at times have to talk to a 60-year-old man on a particular retirement plan.
Right.
So how do you get into that mindset? Only when you have interacted and spend a lot of time with a senior citizen, maybe your grandfather, maybe somebody, you'll able to understand, catch those nuances, those observations which you have gathered there.
Yeah.
At times you have to sell a candy to a 5-year-old kid.
Right.
So you need to be rich enough to sort of bring back your memories or observe some kids and say, okay, this is the new narrative that kids want today. So how do I put them in a way that actually doesn't sell the product but sells the emotion, and hence the product comes into act.
Right.
So I think it's always human emotions first followed by product, because otherwise brands would not come to creative people to tell stories.
Exactly.
So otherwise they are the guys who know which corner, what retailer, which distributor, what commission, and they'll be sorted.
Right.
So I think they come to us because we are fantastic observer of human life and fantastic human storytellers.
Amazing.
And we have to keep that thing alive. These days we complain saying client are doing their own stuff and they hardly listen to us.
Right.
It's true. Innovate, true, because somehow we are not filling those gaps. When they feel इसमें मज़ा नहीं आया, at times 100% they are not right. At times it's true. At times we are not giving the best sort of emotional cut to them. Yep. That's why they sort of shy away from doing what we are recommending.
Makes sense.
So I think if we are honest and if we are really done a great job, see, this is the industry where you don't have to go with or doesn't allow to go with the final product. If you're selling a shoe, you should put a shoe and say this is my final product. If you're making a specs, if you're making anything, this is an industry where we go with an idea and a conviction. And if you are thoroughly convinced, you will look into the client's eye and say, I strongly believe this is the idea and it's going to work for you.
Right.
And if you have all the answers in regards to their worries and questions, it will sail through. So at times we don't do our homework, we go with half-cooked food and then we try to sort of push them. So it's not right. I think as you all know, the industry is going through a huge change. But look at positively. There are mediums which was never there in our lives. There were like maybe 1/4 of the mediums. So there is like 3/4 of more opportunity for us to communicate. which means the challenge on us to learn those 3/4 mediums.
Right.
So I think right now we are cluttered with information, we are cluttered with more mediums, we are cluttered with more brief and less time and more brands. I think this is the first time where there are unicorns of the world who are coming to us and saying, hey, please, I am borrowing money from here and there, you go ahead and make my brand famous. 2-3 years back, the brands, this time was never there before. Right. So we are in a fantastic, wonderful time. But unfortunately, I think a little haziness is that we all need to settle and calm and focus and take one step at a time. And it's still a fantastic industry.
Amazing. So there's a lot of potential in advertising in the future.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So you mentioned that advertising is always an industry which is very young at heart, right? And being a young professional who is planning to come into advertising, how welcoming is the advertising industry towards youngsters? And depending on this answer, we'll all send our resumes to you.
Fantastic. So first of all, I think, as I said some time back, you need to have a hands-on approach on everything, because only by doing all those 14, 17 things, you'll know which is that one that you are really in love with.
Makes sense.
In colleges, you all are just taught in 2, 3, 4 years time, which is not good enough. So you need to actually go and on field experience those things. So when you're coming to the industry, just come and either dabble into everything, or if you are already a super specialist. Like there are guys who are good in illustration, or there are guys who are good in photography, there are guys who are good in writing. But I think many just want to come and figure out saying what I'm great at. So then do everything. So I always feel that first 2 years you should dedicate in terms of learning, because there is, as I said, even I am a learner today. There are huge opportunities, there are huge things, innovation, tech, which are popping up every single day. So you need to sort of absorb those things. And when you are new into this industry, you have to soak in what has happened in the past, because only by knowing your past, you will be able to have a better future. So it's extremely important what has happened on brands and agencies and a culture, advertising culture. So you need to invest a lot of time, and once you do that, I think things becomes very easy for you. So I always feel when you're working, then you should enjoy something that you seamlessly do. Then you're not working, then you're enjoying. Like at times when I'm working on a script or an idea, I can invest clearly 14 to 16 hours and I still feel fresh and
all good.
I have arrived kind of a feeling. But if you're not enjoying, then those 2 hours also feels like 24 hours. So
that's me in accounts class.
No, anything. I think anything. It's not account management or servicing or planning or social data. Anything. I think research, very exciting. People feel just creative is the most exciting part. No, I think talking to consumers and research,
getting insights is very fun.
Absolutely. Such a rich territory. So just soak in everything that is around you, find your love, and then have a long-lasting relationship.
Amazing. Sir, so I'm pretty sure you're already aware of Guthli AdFest 2024. How do you think Guthli AdFest is going to, I wouldn't say revolutionize, but at least do you think it will create a ripple in terms of the creative space for youngsters?
I think in such a huge country, we need a lot of Guthlis around, because I don't think we have those number of institutes and shows or festivals that actually brings out the flavor of the diverse India that we are as a nation. So definitely I feel more and more such narratives should happen at short durations. I would say every month there should be one festival, because the more you remind people, we are all trapped into our own universe and our daily routines, even for youngsters. So the more you keep on reminding, the more I will get pulled into it. The more I get pulled into it, the more information I'll get. So these are extremely important, because I always feel the industry has suffered a bit because we have not passed on the baton in a right way. So we have not created the next leadership candidates. So somehow by starting this kind of process, you sort of pass on the legacy, pass on the information, what the industry is all about, what we are doing, hear the insights from some of the gurus. The festival celebrates some beautiful work. So definitely I think we should have, and I think Guthli as a concept will never have one Guthli.
Yes.
There are many Guthlis, right? So I think let the tree sort of unleash those mangoes, and a lot of Guthli should be around.
Fabulous, sir. Guys, October 19th and 20th, Guthli Ad Fairs at St. Saviour's. See you all there. How important is it to start young in this field of advertising?
I think I would say this industry is all about being young.
Okay.
Because when a nation that is under 30, which a huge percent, I think 56% of our people are under 30, and that's a huge number. I don't think any part of the world you'll have this kind of more than 50% which are under 30. So which means either you come young or you have a mindset and a heart. Absolutely. So we have to, people like us or like 50 plus have to think young.
You look very young as well, just like you know.
Yeah, so I keep myself young because when you're talking to those 56%, you better be young in your thinking, in your approach. So it's extremely important to think young, be young. And the more earlier you come into the industry, as I said, you need to invest 2 years to just get a grip of it. And once you get that foundation right, then you can build as many flows as you can. So extremely important to start young and always be young. In your mindset, in your heart.
Amazing. So this is a question that I wanted to ask you, and you're like the perfect person to ask this question. I'm obsessed with print and OH campaigns, and I know you are a lot more obsessed with print and OH campaigns. Is print and OH a viable medium in modern advertising right now, or is it just a source to gain awards and get likes on social media?
I think if there is a demand, there has to be a supply.
Okay.
If there are more newspapers and magazines in a country like ours, which allows you, there is a consumption, which means brand have to be there, and brands are there. At times during Diwali and Dussehra, you will see 12 full pages. But they all look like catalog advertising. They're all information. So can print become exciting and energetic? Of course. We as a nation has started our journey from print. So if we had a grip 30, 40 years back, why can't we do it now? Is there a vacuum? Of course there is a vacuum. There are more billboards than ever, and some of them are digital billboards, so that allows to tell a 5-10 second visual story without getting into sort of music and sound and dialogues. There are static billboards. There are more newspaper and magazine ever. So then what's stopping the creative community to communicate wonderful
through OH and print? Yes.
Absolutely. So again, I'll pull back. I always tell people that it's about a static frame.
Okay.
The requirement on a billboard, on a static billboard, has to be minimal because you are traveling by a car. So the attention span has to be not more than 3 to 5 seconds. So knowing that I have only that much time, what are the kind of elements or communication I should be doing on a billboard? I have a lot more time when I'm reading a newspaper or a magazine. When I'm on a phone, how exciting that post can be. They are all static mediums. But we have to make them interesting. If the static on the post is not interesting, I will scroll you.
Exactly.
If the billboard is not inviting enough, I will. Absolutely. If the newspaper is or the magazine, I'll turn the page. But it's a job of a creative person to make sure that that medium has certain USPs and you have to bring them. And with today's technology support, you can do many wonderful things on newspaper, magazine, and so on billboard. So I think these mediums exist, and we as an industry has been not fair to them. We have been not fair to post also. We just feel saying ki by putting a message, we are done. At times, yes, the content is interesting, but if it's not been put up in a right way, I will not see the content. The font, the background, the visual, XYZ, many things, many aspects comes. So I think it's extremely important to understand what the medium needs, what the brand needs, and in this entire cluttered media world, how do I put something that is, I always call it less is more. If you have worked for 20 hours, that doesn't mean it's a beautiful piece of campaign. So how do you, when the attention span on every medium is reducing from 8 second to 3 second and now it's less than 1.5 second, how do you create that stickiness in that 1.5 second? How do you communicate something that stops each of these 3 bucket ka reader and your message is communicated? So I think that's dipping down. The medium is there. Right. A lot of unwanted stupid ads are being done. Right. But that love for that medium is not reflecting. Absolutely.
Makes sense, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. It was an absolute pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Thank you for you guys to be part of this Guthli and sort of taking this narrative forward. So good luck.
Thank you, sir. Before we sign off, if you weren't aware already, Guthli AdFest 2024, India's first advertising fest solely dedicated to students, is coming your way on 19th and 20th October. This is your chance to unleash your creativity, make your mark, and start young in the world of advertising. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Register now through the link in the description and be part of a fest that's all about nurturing the next generation of creative geniuses. If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with a fellow creative. Stay tuned for more insights, more inspiration, and more behind-the-scenes magic in the world of branding and advertising. And always remember, every journey starts with a Guthli.